Our canine specialist story started when we purchased our first dog, Diesel, about almost 9 years ago. And as a very new dog, I had no idea about dogs or how to train it. That's a completely a new thing. So I read all the books and get up 5 a.m. before my work, run to the fields, come, sit, or do all this work. Fast forward, I got introduced to a dog trainers and start to go to the fields and start to train. And I start to realize how pure, how great connection you can have with those animals, how pure, black and white, no BS around, how respected they are and they can follow you, how much joy they can provide. And then all of a sudden I realize I'm in love with this. And usually when we are in love with something, we find a way to put it in a business.
We find a way, exactly.
We find make it to work.
I told you today at the table, I never believed in that. I thought it's just a bullshit that service dogs is you go on the internet, apply for a license, and that's what it is. Until I was really struggling a few years ago, and I was sitting at my desk, and Raji, I told you that, right? Like at the table.
Yes.
He just came and like put his head, and I was like kind of like petting him. All my anxiety just fucking, I'm like, oh, that's what it means. And that was the first time I experienced it.
Welcome to Master Your Inner Wealth podcast with your host, Jarek Tadla, where we dive deep into the art of building financial freedom from the inside out. Together, we'll uncover practical strategies, real-life success stories, and expert insights to help you master your inner wealth and create the life you've always wanted. So let's get started.
Welcome to Jarek Tadla podcast, The Inner Wealth. We started today with the prayers. This is my best friend, Libor Zavalsky, with a canine specialist. And we're going to talk about the journey, we're going to hear Libor's story, how he went from entrepreneur to the entrepreneur next level. And let's start, Libor. I just want to say I love how we started the podcast. It's, for years, I did not tell people that I pray. I was telling people that I meditate. I was kind of like embarrassed, to tell people. And it's, now we're putting on a camera. Thank you, Rachel. I really appreciate that. Libor, let's start with your journey, because I know that people want to hear it. How did you start it? Like, how did you went from being the trader, coming to the United States, and then, being on the working for financial institution, traders, and, that's how we got, I mean, we've been friends forever, but then you were in the money machines and, yes, being surrounded by all the wealth, and then, work with me for a long time on the real estate, and now you're pursuing your own journey, with serving others, helping animals, and, just living your life and purpose, new family, new kids, and it's like he's father of 5, so it's we have a little bit competition. I have 5, he has 5. So walk us through the journey. Let's. How old were you when you moved to the United States? And just quickly before we go to the inner wealth.
Well, thank you so much, Jarek, for having me. I'm very blessed to be here, and our friendships goes long way back, and was some ups and downs through it, as its life is, but it's been a great journey, and again, we are blessed to be here. I came to United States about 22 years old, 1 week before my 22nd birthday, just couple friends, backpack, and $1,000 in my wallet. And we saw actually with my friends a movie, Dumb and Dumber. And we've had the highest ski instructing education from Austria. It was Stadtlich. And we're like, wow, let's go to America.
So are you telling me there's a chance?
Always is. And so we tried to be ski instructors in Aspen. We flew to New York, took the Greyhound to South Bend, Indiana. I had my university friend from Prague who sold us a minivan, and actually for $3,000. It was 3 guys, and we had $3,000, but he was kind enough to take $1,000, and we will pay him later on. So 3 guys drove all the way to Colorado, to Aspen, and it's end of November, and we tried to get the job, but that was not possible because not work visas and stuff like that. But we for 2 weeks sleep there in the van, 3 guys, middle of the winter, and play cards, who's gonna sleep where. And my birthday is November 24th, and with that said, that was the time when we actually went to the store and bought the whole grocery chicken. That was like a warm meal after probably a week for us. That was my 22nd birthday celebration. $5 rotisserie chicken that we could have. So we couldn't start there. We had to wait. We cleaned some movie theaters. I know you've been a dishwasher, so we went through all these type of the jobs. But then about a year later, a year and a half later, I've met my first wife, Shanda, which we got married, and I could reestablish myself here in United States. I went back to a university. I finished my, or not finished, I studied, I before studied sports, as I love, that you can relate.
Yeah, that's how we connected. Actually,
That's-
we connected actually through sports and through drinking.
Absolutely. It was always together.
We were always together.
I
We were playing soccer every single night, and then we were drinking every single night.
Yes.
But we good. We sober. We
11 years and going. Yes.
actually, just so for anybody knows, Libor helped me with the journey. I remember when I was going through divorce, and I never thank you for that. That I called you as like, Libor, I think I'm struggling with alcohol, and I knew you were the first one to just come and just because you already were experiencing this, and you just showed up immediately, and your child was just born,
That's correct.
and you end up just coming and staying with me, and you helped me with the journey, as
Yeah.
well. So
It
let's
was
let's talk a little bit about the alcohol, the sedation, and all this stuff. Like, tell me your stories, like the painful story, or
so it was part of our identity. I mean, that's what it is. We were athletes. We were achievers. We were go-getters.
I just love what you said. Our identity.
And the alcohol was a part of it. We work hard, we play hard, and alcohol was part of everything what we do is all the way. And
When was the point that you said, like, fuck, I'm not doing this?
so I struggled with it for probably since 15 years old to 37 years old. So for 23 years, I had three DUIs. I ended up being my last one 4 months in the jail. I mean, that's where I recognized it before I went actually to that jail too. That's when the third DUI happened. I'm driving from my friend's house. It's in the morning, Sunday morning. He had a birthday on Saturday. I was the one who was responsible because I slept there, right? But you drink till 4 o'clock in the morning. You get up at 8 o'clock. It's still plenty of that. And Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m., and I fell asleep on the lights, on the cross section in the middle of the town. People tried to supposedly wake me up, couldn't wake me up. What woke me up was the siren. The police siren woke me up, and that was my aha moment. I woke up, I was like, that's it. That's it. I never drink again in my life.
So was a voice, or was like, how it is, like, because
was-
a lot of us struggle with any sedation. Like, you like people know that my journey is, first I sedated with work, then I sedated with workouts, with the training, and then I sedated with alcohol. What was the what was the voice, or like?
It was me realizing that I've been losing this fight, this competition with the alcohol, because it was all let's go have another one, let's go more. It was always how far we can go.
How many times you tried to quit?
I mean, that's I almost truly, honestly, never. I tried to manage it. I never tried to quit it. That was the time I finally realized myself, and I knew that's for me enough to just stop it. Before it was just band-aids. It was like, I'll manage it. I only drink on Friday. I'll stay there, or I'll take the Uber. I'll have a friends drive me, or somebody comes pick me up. It's no big deal. I mean, if I go once a week to drink, it's who is a harm if I'm not driving? It was driving and drinking is a harm, but never like too much or the extent of the drinking was that harm. But that morning, I don't like to lose. And we've been losing that battle for my whole life, right? Or for over 20 years. And that's when I recognized the only way is to keep winning, is to keep stop drinking. There is no management for me because I am addicted person. And if it is to sports, to the jobs, to the life, to the love, to the animals, to whatever, I am addicted person. And I need to make sure or wanted to put it in the my addictions what can do good, not what can do bad.
Walk us through the awareness that you said, like, I'm an addict. So, and it was your words actually a few years ago when you said, Jarek, we both addicts. We're addicted to success. So anything we touch, we just go 120. And you said, Jarek, now we know we cannot use towards the evil, towards the bad. We got to use towards the good. We because every successful person that every person I have on this podcast is very very successful person like we are, and we all struggle because when you're addicted to success, you're addicted. We never start growing, we never start evolving. But you said it's like Yarek, let's. There was a day that you told me that, hey, I have this call that is like, hey, I gotta use this towards the good. Because it wasn't in drugs. It wasn't like, and we can say it was just alcohol. It wasn't just alcohol because it almost took both of our lives.
Yes.
So walk me
And
like,
others.
how long did it take you from going completely sober to like realizing, hey, I'm an addictive personality? It's because nothing happens like overnight. Like the voice in the car happened. I'm not drinking anymore. When did you realize like, shit, I have a problem, I'm gonna use it for good?
It
Because
took
you
months.
definitely use it for good right now.
Yeah, thank
That's
you.
why you
Thank
here.
you. I appreciate it. Took months. I mean, it's the body, the mind, everything. It took. I got the vision. That's it. No drinking. But I didn't know how it's gonna go about it and so on. It took a month to slowly but surely start to be realizing the addiction and I mean the strength. And actually, I can turn it into the good. And so months, years, I'm still in a process of. It's never-ending journey. I'm still in a process to really navigate my addiction mentality, personality to navigate it through the life and to actually create good.
What about you said the identity? So how long? I mean, because you have to change the identity. I like how you said it. This was your identity. So the process of changing your identity, how long that you think it helped, and then just walk us through the journey, because from then when you quit drinking, like your life went like.
Yeah, it did. So obviously that help out too. Just God was watching over me, and when I stopped drinking, things starts to slowly but surely fell into its pieces. But I have to say, one of the biggest turning moment was my queen Rachel. I mean, that is a story to keep pursuing her for months. The consistency, but finally, she didn't call cops on me for the stalker.
We are consistent. We are consistent motherfuckers.
Consistent.
That's how we have this, like, through the
Yes.
discipline, self-discipline. Consistency is the key.
Exactly. It's like, okay, no, it doesn't resonate with me. I mean, there is always a way. There can be another way, unless, of course, it's crossing the boundaries. But what she told me is that she loves my madness. And that was the first person ever who told me that. And I knew that's the woman I want to spend.
She lets you be who you want to be.
Exactly. I did not want, nobody tried, she never tried to change me or convey, this is good, Libor, but that's a little too much. Can you not have a 20 beers? Can you have a 2 beers? Can you not go that hard, but can you go a little bit? I can't. That's something it's hard to change, and we will change the identity. So finally, I came to peace, and I had somebody in my corner who actually endured it. It's like, this is not too much. This is not that. And I could be myself, and that's where everything started to fit in and thrive. And so I have to give a full credit for that. I mean, God, but also my queen Rachel, because that, when she said she loves my madness, then I know I can be myself in my own house with my own most trusted person, and not to have. And then I was like, all right, let's do this. Let's. It's gonna be hard as it is. The hard is not the problem. We're not looking for easy. We're going looking for right. So let's go right. Let's put my capability and the madnesses into the right direction.
Okay. Walk me through like being in a financial, institutions, like trading and then real estate, and then you said like, what, I'm gonna go on my own. I'm gonna pursue my whatever I want to do, and just find you just moved. You moved to Florida, closer to me. Thank you.
And you have a lot. You have a lot to do. You were a very integral part of it. I mean, to that transition and to that success. I studied finance. I've been in hedge funds, family offices, trading, fixed income securities. I mean, making money. Oh, I realized after years, but it's not. did not fulfill me. I mean, I could do it very fast. It's like I am making money for people who don't need to be made any more money. What really good I am creating? Because I actually make more money if I'm gonna make a better deal. That means I'm taking some money from somebody else. So really, I am not creating any good, and it didn't. It just was not fulfilling me, and I kind of had to also get out to start something on my own. And obviously we knew each other, but that's where our paths crossed it, because at the time I was already sober. You were looking, you had some money from your real estate, and I went to visit you. We spent some time together, and it's like you had the faith in me. It's like, yeah, I'll be happy to work with
I
you.
just want to touch on that. It's proximity is power. That's number one. And like you said, sometimes in life we need one person to just believe in you, and we got to start. We got to believe in ourselves. But it's just one person, and it's just like when you, at least when I also become sober, just all the doors open.
Yes.
I have like a lot bigger awareness, and that's the same thing happened with you.
Yes, and again, I can only thank to you. You opened that door for me to walk from the safety and comfortable lifestyle of being in the office, managing people's money, making money. But it was then, right? But with you, I saw you were already successful. You tried to do good things, and I felt like you and we could work nicely. I could bring a value to your vision, to your, and hopefully, and you bring obviously value too. And we started, and we still continue doing business and relationships together. But at this point, again, thanks to you, introduced me to Raul and to the Edge, and then all of a sudden also the Prince, and it started to be open the Pandora box of a king.
Yeah.
And I blow my mind. And again, I can only thank you, Jarek, for that, because you're the one who sent me to Raul's boot camp, and I thank Raul and the whole Edge team as well too, because it was eye-opening. It was always inside me. It was always there. But that gave me the confidence and opened that door. And since that boot camp, I felt so purposed, so in my own skin, with my queen by my side, who actually loves that madness about it, that I was like, sky is the limit. Pretty much what I can do anything. And then, obviously, the king's been born. It takes time, of course, and then to be a good king,
Reborn.
it takes.
You were born.
or-
You were born.
or
Reborn. Reborn.
Yes,
Because what happens
reborn.
when we find the fulfillment and purpose is suddenly like we realize the life happens from inside out, not from outside in, and that's when everything, the abundance comes, and everybody like start kind of like the piece by piece by piece, with their own speed, and it's walk us through the journey.
So, through that, I was like, I took it to the heart. Just again, my addiction turned into the being a king, creating a good kingdom, good environment for people to be. I so strongly believe in that concept. And starting with me, starting with my queen, my kids are princesses and princes. But believe me, this is not that they are some entitled ones. This is a duty. This is a responsibility to be a prince and princess, because they have to provide a good value to the society, to the earth, and all that, because they will have that capability one
You
day.
said twice. I love what you said. You said twice value. It's funny how we bring value. The more it's because we bring value to the table. We don't receive the value. We have to bring the value to bring everybody else.
Yeah.
And I know both of you guys believe in the nuclear family, and and the men, unfortunately, in this society are being so much criticized, so much put on them, and they don't speak up, and they cannot find, because they are so put it like pushed to not be themselves. I love what you said, that suddenly you could be Libor, and when you had the freedom to be you, you found the freedom to be a fucking man. And when it's,
Amen.
and then because you become man, then the whole family, I'm getting goosebumps, the whole family came out of you, and you guys are like kind of like creating the nuclear family that is missing right now, because there's so many men and women needs to be a man in the relationship, because the men are sedating, and they just become the victim of the circumstances. They're like, poor me, poor me, poor me, and you just completely, I don't want to say come out of the closet. It's a joke. It's a joke that everybody talks about me. But when you came out with your feelings and your growth, and it's like, hey, I wanna be myself. How do you like? How would you say to another man listening, or even women, just get the permission to be ourselves? Like, what would you tell them? Like, clearly you have somebody that give you the permission. That's what I found with Jessica, with my queen. First time, in my life, I have somebody that gives me permission to be me, even for my little fuck ups. And it's funny. She always says, like, she's like, yeah, you look hangover. You want a beer? Like, what the hell? It's like, dude, what? You're not judging me for that? Being around, and even when you came, like, when you helped me with my journey of soberness, you never judged me. You just like, shit, like, we have our own fuck ups. But this came from within, like, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people come being transactional, and they came from within. Well, what advice would you give, just from your own, like, from the heart, from the head, what advice would you give to find themselves? Because how you, like, even the way you speak with passion. So the way, how would you, like, what advice would you give him to people that are lost? Like, just...
Look the environment around you, because a lot of it is you have to surround. We've talked many times together too. You have to the environment. There is a good energy, there is a bad energy, and people who surround. Because for most part, I mean, it's the bottom line. The society, the environment wants not to be as a strong, healthy leaders, because that's the threat to a lot of things. It wants us to be a little bit a sheep who just goes and follow, right? I mean, I can go a little bit more into it, just our health. Our health.
Go.
There is no benefits. I mean, of course, but for the society, us to be healthy, if we are sick and dependent, it's easier to control. If we are always pushed down, like that manhood is pushed down, that we cannot really be ourselves. And yeah, we are not perfect, but I don't go for perfections. That's a vicious cycle that you can never attempt. But it's confidence. I mean, there is a lot of things to come, but you have to have some support to be confident. We can be all confident ourselves, but if there is nobody in your corner, that confidence sooner or later gonna go, and we can adapt, and then you're gonna go sedate yourself to whatever conditions are there for what the society wants to have you. But I think it's more to reconnect. Don't be somebody other people wants you to be. Really be yourself. Find it what that is, and there is no right or wrong. That's just we all try to mimic some other, because I've seen somebody on social media, or somebody said something, or we'll have to really, and it's hard. It took me 37, 40 years to get to that point. It's not overnight, and I got blessed and I got lucky to actually be still alive and could realize it. But now, if I had that chance, I wanna do it for something good.
But you also find a lot of connection with animals. Talk us a little bit about your business and how you find the connection and the love and the training and what you do right now with people, and like that's how that came about. And how clearly it's your fulfillment, and the gift is your purpose. And it's like, so talk us like how. This came also from nowhere. Being present, being in the moment, finding connection, it's like, and then you because if I tell people, it's like, yeah, you're gonna get rich, selling dogs, or just like, what? But this is like, like you in the fucking trading market, with the hedge funds, REITs, like all this shit, and suddenly it's you move in Ocala, have horses, dogs, and and you're happy. You are happy, motherfucker. Like, seriously, and that's the most important. And I think how that happened, the connection, and you found it is like, because this is like, if I told you this 10 years ago, you'd be like, hell no, Jarek, I'm not doing this shit. Like, you know what I mean? It was like,
there are no money. What's the return on investment? What's the ROI? How can we monetize?
You are the most analytical guy that I know in my life. You did my numbers for years.
Yeah.
So I know how you are. So as it went from like return on investment to return on energy, and return on purpose, and return on fulfillment.
Yes.
Dude, you gotta walk us through this. Like, I think the guys would love this shit.
So yeah, our canine specialist story started when we purchased our first dog, Diesel, about 8.5, almost 9 years ago. And as a very new dog, I had no idea about dogs or how to train it. That's a completely a new thing, right? So I read all the books and get up 5 a.m. Before my work, run to the fields, come, sit, or do all this work. But little I knew. Later on, I got introduced to one of a good trainer.
But I gotta tell you, and because I know you so long, when you called me, we were connecting. And it's like, yeah, I'm like 2-3 hours in a park, in a dog park, throwing shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, do you what are you doing, Libor? Like 3 hours. I'm like, but at that time, now seeing you and going back, but this was you connected with being outside. But you and I, we always like to be outside. We were
Absolutely.
in sports and stuff like
Yes.
that. But this time you were doing something not for yourself, even though you were doing this for yourself. Because
with
you
something.
being in nature and with the connection, because that's the first time, like, I don't know, I might be delusional, but that's the first time you kind of, like, when I was talking to you, connected with animal, with the nature and everything else. And it was like 3 hours, 4 hours of you driving there. I'm like, what the hell? And then,
Absolutely.
of course, a year later, you brought me, let's do this business together. I'm like,
That's
dude.
exactly right. Fast forward, I got introduced to a dog trainers and start to
Yeah.
go to the fields and start to train. And I start to realize how pure, how great connection you can have with those animals, how pure, black and white, no BS around, how respected they are, and they can follow you, how much joy they can provide, and same thing, you with them, and then all of a sudden I realize, okay, but that at that time, especially was on the field, rented, and then it's like, Jarek, I think I'm in love with this. And usually when we are in love with something, we find a way to put it in a
We
business.
found a way,
We
exactly.
find make it to work. So you and I start to talk, and that was also a reason we came down to Florida to move it up and start the business of canines, because we had the passion, we had the love. We knew how to get the good people to learn, and from that point we start to run a canine specialist, and really everything else is the history. And every day that interaction from those puppies to the little bit older dogs, I mean, we touched so many lives. I mean, we have from the puppies to a service dogs, older dogs. We rescued some dogs, and work with so many different demographics or people, from children to the older couple to the mid-age female, or the male to the vets. I mean, tons of vets, or a lot of people actually with some emotional drama in their life, or some mental illnesses, where that dog brings so much calmness, so much help to them cope with everyday
You
lives.
know, what's funny is I told you today at the table, I never believed in that. I thought it's just a bullshit that service dogs is like you go on the internet, apply for a license. I told you that, and that's what it is. Until I was really going like struggling like a few years ago, and I was sitting at my desk, and Raji, I told you that, right? Like at the table,
Yes.
he just came and like put his head, and I was like kind of like like petting him, like all my anxiety just fucking. I'm like, oh, that's what it means. And that was the first time I experienced, and I was very like I was like this. I thought it's a bullshit. So can you talk about the emotional connection and exactly like what you said? Emotional people have emotional trauma or mental health issues. That's what I talk about, and how people find out. And let's answer that question. But I have another question for you. But let's answer the question first.
So with that, you're absolutely right. There is really no replacement for that dog's loyalty and the passion, or the emotional support to a people. They, in a sense, come because that's what the dogs love too. They don't ask much in a return. So you can come and really rely or connect with them without any subsequent needs or the game diplomacy. They are not really much of a diplomats, or in people's. Sometimes they come, they pretend that they are here for you.
It's transactional.
Exactly.
This is completely untransactional. It's a really emotional and it's really like connection, love.
dogs has been always bred and it's animals, right? The animal kingdom, they are pack animals. So that's mean they've been always wanting to be in the packs and part of the pack, which is you. It's the individual, it's the house, it's the family, whatever those reason is. So it's just only a matter of to bring it the understanding for the person and the dog to understand that's the pack and this is everybody's role. But then the sky is really the limit. What type of the in the sense services? It doesn't have to be necessarily just the service dog for emotional trauma driven or people, but it can be for raising a young family, teaching a good habit of taking care of somebody, because having the journey of bringing a puppy up or have already older trained dog for the medical reason. So the variety or the scale is really very, very broad what canines, dogs can bring to our lives. And I just fell in love with how, in the sense, simple and loyal it can be, the relationship with them, and how fulfilling it is.
Because, like, for me, what I noticed, and this is my only opinion. I'm not saying this is the truth. This is podcast. We have regular conversations, but I think especially right now, globally, but especially in this country, United States, a lot of people, a lot of animal lovers, like dog lovers, just any animals. Like there is a connection. And I think and I might be wrong. I'm not saying this is right or wrong, but I think because we went through a lot of people went through a lot of childhood trauma, father issue, mother issue, being in growing up in the really physical, mental abuse relationships, and going through their divorces, and they found connections because they know that the animal can give an unlimited love, and they pour the love towards the animal, and they say unconditional love. The dogs won't speak when when you have a partner, the partner will speak at you or betray you, or the same thing, will scream at you, yell at you. And the dogs, not only dogs, any animal, but we talk about dogs, just you yell at him, and like in 15 minutes later the dog just comes to you like it's your puppy, and it just loves you, everything else. How do you find the people that bringing the issues, like because like a lot of people come to you as like, hey, they put all the love towards the animal, but we talk about it, they're hurting the animal as well, because the animal doesn't have a structure, doesn't have the it's an animal at the end of the day. So how do you help people to connect, even on the end of it, connect with them even more? And the dog, like the reason I'm talking about it, because you said you finally found love for yourself, because Rachel, give you permission to be you. But we have to give the permission to the dogs to be a dog, not a cat, or not a fish, or not a human being. How? Because that's what you guys come. Because people come, it's like, help me, or breed the dog, and you guys train the dog, and then sell the dogs to they are completely not fully developed, but then you so walk like the hardship and the issues people bring you the dogs or ask for help.
Yes. So one of the biggest issue or always concern is what we are seeing. People try to humanize dogs. They try to have a lot of similar expectations from the dog, or treating the dog like they would think it's good to treat a human being, and that humanization is gonna make it very more confusing for the dog. The dogs are much more simplistic than us human beings. So it's very important, and that's what we try to teach and educate people. Keep it very simple. They'll still give you the unconditional love. Actually, more you put the gray area to them, lesser of that unconditional love is gonna come. More it is a black and white in the dog's view, then much more unconditional love you will receive, because we unfortunately and unintentionally many times confuse the dog more than it's needed. I mean, think about it. We live in a human world, and it's confusing to us human beings.
Yeah.
And there is no debate that human brains, we are way more prone and trained and educated to deal with this, and we can still deal with it.
The dogs, you cannot go out of your head, out of your ego. It doesn't help.
And now we wanted to have dogs which have much more limited a brain and understandings to obey or explain it to them, all this area. It doesn't work that way. So we mostly actually train and educate people just for them to understand how to get the best connection, how to best communicate it with the dog, so we can get the loyalty, the emotional satisfaction, and the touch companionships from them. And that's really the biggest thing and misconceptions to most people around the world, about how to properly interact and communicate with the dogs. They make it too much gray, too much, they humanize the dog instead keeping it black and white. They don't need much. They need the food, they need water, they need your companionships and some activity to do, and that's all what they need. And for that, they'll give you the rest of their lives.
Tell me the good stories. When people come to you, you take the dog for training or you sell them a dog, and tell me the good story. Like, give me like the two good stories. Like, oh my God, you guys, my dog, what if let's say somebody give you for the training and then you bring back, or the one that you just breed and just train. How long you train the dogs for? Like,
so we train, we have a training programs. It starts at 5 weeks long because all our training is positive reinforcement philosophy. The
can I
important
bring you
part.
my kids?
Absolutely. My kids are trained or not raised the same way. It's building the structure. It's more. We are not about the tasks. The task will come later because many trainers or many people, when they raising, they try to focus on task. Come, sit, stay. Oh, guess what? At the beginning, they gonna do it. Just like the children, they are 2, 3 years, 4 years old. They wanna help around, yes, or they put their dishes away. But it's much harder to do at 15, not because they cannot do it, because they choose not to do it, because there is not a strong structure. So it's very important to build a healthy, good structure. We still need to understand that dogs are pack animals, and there needs to be a leader in that pack, and the rest of them is followed. That's how the pack is practicing. So we need to, once we build that structure, which is we can build on top of that anything. Sky is the limit. Whatever you wanna train your dog to make a somersault, or to lick you when you need your pill, or just guide you because you cannot see through the town. All this possible, but you cannot do it without that structure. So that's first to understand that you guys belong to each other, and teach the communication. How you wanna, because if there is no communication, we don't speak dogs, and dogs don't speak English or human languages, whatever that language is, but they will understand interaction and experience.
So why people are saying, like, people speak language, like, let's say my dogs, because we speak Polish, so the dogs speak Polish or English. There's just the commander.
This
like,
is the urban
so
legends.
we
It's
made
just
this
kind
shit
of
up.
feels good, and as again, as
So
human
that's
beings try to be cute, but of course the dog will obey to certain commands, and that can go with any language. It can be in Polish, it can be in Czech, it can be in English, in any. I can say chocolate, and that might mean for the dog, if I explain it to him, if I communicate it correctly, go and lay down, for example, So yes, we will eventually get the voice commands as well too. But because we just say it, it doesn't mean we're gonna do it, as you would not go and use all your capabilities for some stranger or for somebody you don't respect or follow, lead, use your capabilities, even though you are capable of doing it. You'll choose, am I gonna do it or not? Very few people, if any, or circumstances, you will be forced to do it because somebody just told you to.
Got it. Damn. So can we? So give me just a good story, of the.
So there is obviously a
Can
lot
you
of it,
train
but
like an
what?
older dog?
Yeah, of course, the best is to start early. We start around 4 months old, because the first 2 months they are with the breeder, because that's where they need to go. The third, fourth, many times people, can we start training? It's like, are you training your 3 months old baby? What training are you doing? No, you're setting up the boundaries, you setting up the routines, you setting up that bond, right? You are not really per se trained. Are you training 3-year-old kids? Yeah, a little bit maybe, but not still. It's a raising. You cannot train a little bit. You have to build a good structure, so then when they are 10, 12, 15, you can go and train. So, but the good story is, for us, like, when people come with the older dogs, sorry to you mentioned on the older dogs. Of course, we can train older dogs, but it will take a little bit longer. That is saying you cannot teach old dog new tricks. Yes, you can, but it's gonna be a little bit more timely because it's gonna
funny.
take longer time than it's gonna take 4 or 5 months, 6 months old puppy. If a dog's been conditioned as the king of the house for 5 years, now he is 40 years old male age in a sense. It's like he's not gonna give up his kingdom just or being a king for something to follow. It's gonna go with certain turmoil.
Libor like us. I mean, I think you said like we are coachable too. We train. We we change in a
Absolutely.
with the being 40. Well, I changed when I was 50,
Yes.
and we're still working. We constantly. That's a never. It's an infinite game, and it never stops. It just willingness and. I think the older the dog is, the more time you guys need, and the same thing the owners got to get on the same level. You know
Because
what
it
I mean?
will take a little bit more and it's going to take a little bit harder. The pushback's going to be harder. I'll tell people, for example, crate train is very important for setting up the boundaries, just like with the kids. We have cribs, we have the bedrooms and so on. So, but, if the dog never been in the crate and you try to introduce it at 5 years old, he's not going to understand it, and he's going to throw a lot of fit for it, and he's a fully grown, whatever breed that is, 40 pounds, 80 pounds, you name it. But if from right beginning you teach, actually is a good thing. You get the food in it. You get to sleep. You get the rest. Right now, I probably didn't like to be in the bedroom too when I was 2 years old or in the crib. Now I'm sure I'm not the only one I love to be in my bed and close the door and decompress. But it took a time and the maturity, and we have to go through that
So you
through
just
that
give
process.
people the structure after they bring it, or just
Exactly. So those are, so sooner you start, much better results you will have, and after that you start to build all those different tasks. So we love when people comes to us. It's and with my dog keeps jumping, it's pulling on my leash, it's it's barking of everybody and so on. That's not the task problem. It's the problem the dog is confuse his role in the family, in the pack. And as it's growing, people won't find it at 4 or 5 months old. They'll find it when they are 7, 10 months, 12 months, 18 months. As the dog's growing, he will start to, this is my family, I need to protect it, but that's a different, or I need to react to it. No, still the people, it's our world, it's human beings' world. I mean, we are not, it's at the end, we will understand the environment better than the dogs, so we have to get the clues from us, not that the dog's making a decision who is a good guy and who is a bad guy, because cannot do that on the daily basis on the day light. At the night, 2 a.m., if somebody's getting, they have a better sleep, better ears, better hearing, better smell. So if somebody comes, beat the dog, announce it, you are here, take it out. That's clue for him to be the protection for you, because that's what we get too as well.
Your main component is the canine dogs, the trainers for the police, for everything. So that's where it's like.
That's true, but there is a big difference between the police dogs and what can go to the normal people's lives. Our canine specialist the canine is representation of canine abbreviation of the word dog. We like to present ourselves as the dog specialist. It doesn't matter the breed, what it is, to help people to navigate, to have it. We do try to provide also the best family-friendly protection dog, so the dog is capable of protecting the family, but we have to take in consideration everyday lives. The kids are playing, people are coming in and out. The police dogs and military dogs, it's different. They are at work and everything is a threat. And they are on the on switch all the time, or then they go to the kennel and they sleep, they rest. There is not that gray area of being in our lives. And everything in our lives, it's a gray area. So there has to be a fine line what we try to reach out to our clients or to people to educate and provide the dogs who can be still very safe, but at the for the people to have the kids, families. But at the same time, if somebody comes and starts to beating you up or try to invade your home at 3 a.m., they have enough clues to go and show up for you.
But do you think you also have to spend, like, the training dog is one thing, but Does the owner need to be trained?
No, no,
The
no.
owner.
It's people, and it's not it's training and education, and it's so many.
Education. Okay.
It's
Let's
education.
use education. Let's use
We'll go with
education.
education because how we do with our dogs. First we educate, then we train, and then we can
What
correct,
about
right?
the owners? The owners.
The
How
owners?
how do we educate the owners so they don't?
I mean, I'm sure we've all noticed there is so much information out there for any aspect of our lives. It doesn't have to be about dogs. It can be about cars. It can be about the health. It can be about whatever that is. And a lot of it is good, but also a lot of it is not good. So obviously, to finding the right people who you can trust and you experience people through that is the key. That's the key to find the trusted people. Most likely at the beginning we're gonna like what we're gonna hear is like, oh no, but it's my doggy, it's my baby, and so on. But that's sometimes the problem where the dog behaves certain way. So we need to come open-minded and listen to the
How
experts.
people find you? Where do people find you?
They can find us on our website, k9specialist.com. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have YouTube channel. So we actually try to open it up, our social media. But k9specialist.com, our
We're gonna
website.
put everything on there, guys, on the website underneath, so you can follow Libor and
Oh, thank
K9
you so much.
specialist and-
I'll appreciate that. But really, again, it's a lot to all people process. So it's at the end, find the people who you will go and trust, and that education it's out there, but it needs to be educated to people.
Okay, thank you, Libor.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Leave your comments and subscribe for more insights and master your inner wealth.